All right, hey, what's up, guys? Welcome back, Play Fast Football. All right, today we're going to do a little video on two of my favorite offensive concepts that are becoming really hard to defend on the defensive side: power toss read and GT counter bash, or OT counter bash, however you want to look at it. But we're talking about guard and tackle counter with an outside back away sweep component, and we're going to talk about which ones. To me, what the bonuses are of each one, or maybe even the downsides are of each one, and I might even take a look at it as a defensive on the defensive side of the ball. What makes it so tough to defend? Make sure you check out some of our sponsors: GameStrat, our sideline replay system that we use; Difference USA, the ultimate striking machine; Defensive Coordinator One, which is an in-game app letting you make critical in-game adjustments; JustPlay Football, which is the play diagram tool that I use, the digital software that I use to diagram plays; HighandTight, which is a ball training security aid; Baker Sports, which is a local company here that provides us with all of our team uniforms and our coaches gear and our fans and booster club gear; and then Dome Hats, which is the official sponsor of Play Fast Football and the high school that I'm at right now, custom quality hats, beanies, and visors. So make sure you check out all the people that that take care of Play Fast Football and allow us to do all these videos and all these things with support our clinics and so support our sponsors. All right, so when we're talking about toss read or GT bash, what we're talking about is plays that can get on the perimeter quickly, okay, but plays that also have some type of component to them, a read element to them, that make them, you know, multiple, in which there are two plays in one. All right, and then depending on what you do with access throws or how you read things, it could be three plays in one. All right, but the bottom line is you have something where the ball is going to the perimeter with the threat of an inside run as well. Okay, so they make it really tough on the defense to defend. Now, when you talk about power toss read, all right, the first thing I like about power toss read is it's going to be on the perimeter quicker than the GT bash. Okay, so if we're going to double a three here and work it back to the backside backer, we're going to block the one back, we're going to pull the guard for the power component. We're going to hinge the backside here, okay? Normally what I like to do out of a 20 personnel or 11Y offset is I like to make sure that we get, all right, the overhang blocked and the corner blocked, and then I like to take the sniffer as a security blanket for the inside linebacker so that I have the inside linebacker blocked if he runs to the toss read or if he stays to fit power, we got him blocked either way. So, but the fact that the back is out right now and we're going to shuffle with the quarterback, if we toss this ball, it gets on the perimeter really quickly. So that's one thing I like about the toss read play. The second thing I like about the toss read play is it affects the front side end so that if we do keep the ball, all right, based on the read of the end, we have automatically affected him with the shuffle, toss read, and that's a little bit different than the GT bash play. Okay, so I like the fact that it affects the front side end. We attack the front side end if we keep the ball to run it. I like the fact that it gets on the perimeter very quickly. Downside, I don't really like the fact that we have to toss it because now that toss goes laterally or backwards and it can be a fumble. It can be a loss of a bunch of yards if you don't field it correctly. So I'm not in love with the toss component of it for those reasons, but it gets it to the perimeter wider, and you'll see some teams that'll just shove it out there, almost option pitch like. You'll see some teams that'll underhand toss it. I've seen it done a bunch of different ways, but it will get on the perimeter a lot quicker, and it will affect how you try to run to the perimeter. Because really, in essence, when we block it this way, all right, we are guaranteeing we can get to the mic if he runs. We can get to the apex, but we can't get to the free safety. If we were to change it up and go to the free safety with the slot, or even better yet, all right, possibly get down and crack the free safety with a wide out and put the sniffer on the corner. Now we've got everybody on the perimeter blocked, but we can't block the mic if he runs over the top. So for me, if I'm going to be one short in the run game, I'm going to be one short on the free safety and make him come up. I'm going to be one short on the free safety and +1 on the mic. Make that guy come up to try and make a tackle on one of your backs in space if it's a split field, too high safety look. That's what we're going to try and do. Okay, so ball on the perimeter a lot quicker, affects the front side. If the end widens, you run the power right at the end, who's front side. All right, puts a lot of pressure on the defense to defend perimeter runs and inside runs as well. All right, a little bit different. The one thing it doesn't do, you can still get them blocked, but it really doesn't have a great effect on the backside will because it's full flow. So you know right now, depending on how those inside linebackers read, that you're going to get full flow and scrape from the backside 8-man box player. So that's the only downside to it, is there's no misdirection. The other bonus is you can build in an access throw component to where on the backside you can work different kinds of throws on the backside, so that if you get a loaded box or if they do something on a perimeter that you don't like, you can throw the ball to the access. If you get one-on-ones out here you like, we have a couple receivers we like at the single position. If we get one-on-one press or nobody in the box kind of helping, if it's a 7-man loaded box, or if it's, you know, rotated 3 deep, rotated down to the 2 receiver side, if we can get this guy by himself, you build in an access component. Now you've got a bunch of plays built in one. You've got an access play, a toss play, and an inside power play built in one. So as a tempo team, it makes it a really, really effective football play. All right. Now, although I'll stay in the 11 or 20 personnel world, you can do this out of so many different sets. But the thing about the GT bash play, when you look at it, and I'll look at it from a standpoint of how it affects the defense, and then also offensively what I think. All right, so when we're talking about, counter bash play, so what we're talking about is a play where we've got back sweep action away from the designed. And sorry, I got the 3 technique still set to that side. So if the sniffer was on the other side and they were setting the 3 technique to the sniffer, maybe I should put the 3 technique over here. But I'm just going to draw the blocking scheme up. It's irrelevant either way. All right. So you'd have counter now where you're running GT or OT counter, whatever your fancy is of how you call it. So you're pulling the backside, all right, guard and tackle, and you're running counter with the Q, but you're reading the front side end, all right, and not front side of the counter, front side of the sweep. You're reading the sweep side, bash side end for give or keep. All right, so what's happening now is this read, and then what I would do is, however you want to do it, you can back them out, stand them up, you can run routes. You still could have access built in, access throws over here if you don't like the counter side. You could build in access throws. It could be a back out. It could be, all right, now one with a stalk block. It could be routes. All right, it could be, you could build in access to where it's, all right, hitches or possibly double slant. Whatever it is to give the quarterback a chance, if he doesn't like the bash play, to, all right, throw the football or get the football out into space. So the difference with the bash play offensively is quarterback's going to be a little bit further removed from the counter play if you're going to allow him to shuffle read this backside. If it's going to be a static, hey, stick the ball out, I don't move, I give or I pull, then he's not as far removed from the counter play. If there's going to be any shuffle ride to side at all here, when the quarterback shuffles with the mesh, he's going to get himself further away from, all right, the actual counter play. So that's one downside. The other downside to it is you don't really affect the play side, counter side end with the bash. Okay, so with the bash action, you're not affecting the front side end the way you do on power read. So this kid, if he's a good football player or a skilled football player, he still has a chance off of these down blocks to get in here and make life miserable for the guard and possibly get that play, all right, to have to bounce to the perimeter. So the downside for me is I don't like the fact that my bash read isn't the front side of my run. So now when I actually pull and have to run counter back here, I'm a little bit further removed from it. And also that end has not been affected by the bash sweep, and now off the down block he can squeeze it or do whatever he wants to do to affect the play. So that's kind of some of the downside to it, in my opinion. You know, possibly if there's a 3 technique backside, you might be blocking a 3 technique back to where when you're pulling GT, you're actually blocking guys back, but the sweep happens so fast and so wide that very rarely will you see a 3 technique that's being blocked back make a play on the sweep component. All right, so you really don't worry about it all that much, but that could be one of the only downsides to it. All right, as far as the 1 or the 3 on the backside in an even front who you're back blocking. Now, as far as the positives, what I like is it kind of divides the defense now. All right, so you have got a play that on this side has an outside run component, but on this side has a counter component coming back. All right, and what that does is that makes the defense really be sound in how they're trying to do things. Okay, so if they're a squeeze and chase replace team, then what's going to happen is this end is going to have to squeeze and take the quarterback runs away, because if they're going to replace, that means they have to run the will to get, all right, the right bodies with the sniffer on this side. To get the right bodies, they need the end to spill, they need the will to run, and they need, all right, the weak safety to be there in some type of skied system, not rotated strong, but with the sniffer here, you won't get a strong rotation usually. So they need the will linebacker and the weak safety with a spill to equate the numbers in this run, because we have a sniffer and a not, when I say spill, what I mean is he's not going to spill a blocker, but he's essentially spilling because he's making the bash get given, so he's actually spilling the quarterback run component. All right, so there's some theories out there that, spill 1, box 2, and because the fullback is here, all right, and the fullback releases outside, he's already spilled the fullback, so now he can, all right, box the next run, which would be, all right, box the quarterback and make the quarterback give the run, so he actually becomes the QB player. Force the bash out here to where the weak safety and the will can run to the bash and get an extra number on the sniffer, would be the theory, okay? But if for whatever reason, now if your will linebacker is somebody who's reading pullers and he now runs front side, so now your Mike is going to go back front side, all right? If your will goes back front side, now you got to be careful with your end spilling 1, boxing 2, and taking the quarterback runs away, all right? Because now if the end squeezes to take the QB runs away and the bash is given and you lose the will, now we've divided the defense in half. All right, so now we've got the backers playing pullers and trying to get extra bodies on pullers if we're a gap team. All right, same way they're going to try and get extra bodies on power, because we're getting +1 to the front side. They're going to try and get +1 to the front side. Well, if they do that, then they probably can't spill. All right, it's very hard for them to spill the front side, because now the ball will be out the gate to the bash, and you'll lose the will linebacker who's running with pullers. So if the will linebacker stays front side, okay, if he stays front side to the bash, they're going to get an extra defender to the bash, okay, but they're going to lose somebody to the front side of the counter play. And again, this is just one formation I just drawn up out of. There are some other, all right, formations you can get into, all right, when you get into like 3x1, and teams do it out of 3x1, you get into 3x1 deals. And again, because it divides the defense a little bit more than the power read play, that's what I like, making it so effective. Again, they each have, all right, they each have a plus and a minus. Each one of them have a plus and a minus to them that makes them great plays. And each one of them has a strength and a weakness. All right, but the counter bash deal that I like is the fact that it's really putting a lot of pressure on the defense, because you're kind of dividing it in half. So what are they going to read? What are they going to do? If ends are going to be hard spill players and come down inside versus veer release or inside releases, how are they going to replace those ends? Are they going to let their backers run, okay, over the top? Are their backers going to be tied? Is the will going to be tied to the counter play? All right, so is the will going to be tied to the counter play? Because essentially the offense, if they get the end kicked and they get the tackle wrapped on the weak safety, that's got to be the extra player, all right, for the defense to get to the front side of the counter play. So obviously, as a defense, you would like to try and spill, make this thing go wider, and hope that he can beat, all right, the down block over the top and get guys to run to the ball. But to me, the GT bash divides the defense down the middle and makes it that much of a tougher play. Downside, I don't think it hits the perimeter as quick. I think the quarterback gets a little bit further away when it's time if he shuffles to go to the counter. And I think you're not affecting the play side end, who you still have to have a great guard or a great kick out or a log and a wrap around the log, because this end is not affected by the front side bash the way the end in the power toss read is affected. So two really good plays that put a lot of stress on the defense, especially if you have speed in the backfield and you have quarterbacks that can run. Really makes the defense decide how they want to play football. Do they want to take quarterback runs away, get the ball on the perimeter and get guys running to it? Do they want to try and box some of those outside runs but now give the quarterback a chance to get up inside? Ultimately, the defense will kind of determine who's going to have the football on these read plays. So the defense, if they're schemed correctly and if their kids play it correctly, they'll have an idea of what they want the ball to do and where they want the ball to go. So they're either going to take the quarterback component away or they'll try and take the outside run component away. Very hard to take both away. So these concepts, when executed right, read right, blocked right with good players, very, very tough to defend. Multiple plays with read components, it really gives defenses a hard time. So we love running these theories in our offense, and we also hate having to defend them. When we have to defend them, we got to pick and choose how we're going to defend them and what we want to do, how we're setting edges, how we're playing QB read components, how hard are we spilling, how hard are we replacing. So it's really, really good offensive theories, really good principles behind why you would do it with the right personnel, and fun, not easy, but fun to defend on defense because it really makes you think formationally about what you're doing and how you're doing it. So hopefully that helps you guys out with the power read, power toss play, or read toss play, and then the GT bash, which you could actually probably still read as a toss play too. I know there's some teams out there that read it as a toss. But both plays are very good. You're seeing them. We see them a lot more in high school football now than we ever used to. You're seeing them at the college level. Seeing a little bit of it sometimes at the pro level, depending on the personnel. So really good football plays. Appreciate everything you guys do for Play Fast Football. Make sure you click the subscribe button. Make sure you turn notifications on so you know every time we do a video. Thumbs up, thumbs down if you like or don't like the content, so that we know what kind of videos to put out next. Always leave a message if you can. I respond to every message that I can see in the comments section. Remember, you won't play well until you play fast. Appreciate it, guys. See you next time.